like that, you know, when you ask, you receive it, you know, and if somebody needs something, the gods work through all of us. It's just having the peace of mind to be allowed to be used as an instrument. Because when you don't have the peace of mind, what you see is a blockage. The blockage that is you, your negative thoughts or your fears and your worries, rather than what is really you, the self, which is full of love and light, you know? But when we can understand that negative thoughts are just like, you know, just like decoration, just like decoration on the mind. And you can remove them, you know, like you remove Christmas decorations, sometimes they get very gaudy. Have you seen some homes? So over-decorated that you can't see anything anymore. It gets a little gaudy, you know, when you take out everything and it's so clear, you can see everything again. And even though it's good, and sometimes even with overly anxious thoughts about being good, I have to be good, I have to be successful, I have to, they cause disturbance in the mind. You know, the truth is you don't have to be anything but who you are when you're at peace. And that's why when our master said to me, make peace your God, it just sat so well. It was so truthful. Because when you are at peace, you can be used. You become that instrument, so you get. And when you're totally selfless and you ask for somebody else, the dedicated ever enjoy supreme peace, so live only to serve. So when you're dedicated and your mind is looking to serve somebody else, there's always an answer. I've seen that. Haven't you seen it over and over again? I see it all the time. And it's really nice when you can see it. So yeah, great. Thanks for being there. And that's how we can contribute to the growth of faith and goodness. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But there's hope. And where there is hope, there is always light. Sometimes things don't work out our way. They just don't. Call it karma. Call it learning. Call it whatever you may. I call it, it's life. It's normal. The other day I was with a young married couple and they were arguing. And she was getting very agitated. And I go, why are you getting so agitated? Don't you know it's normal? What, Auntie Nell? That's my niece actually. Yeah. So normal. Every couple argues. Just don't give it too much energy. And they both went away laughing. You know? Do you see? It's what we plaster and we take personally. And we become too personal. Again and again and again. I keep trying to advise everybody. Don't take things too personally. After all, you're not really here for a long time. Are you? Yeah. If you take it personally, you waste a lot of your life. Better to ignore it. Sri Patanjali gives us a very good way of dealing with this. What does he tell us? Disregard.
But it's not always possible.
No, it's difficult.
It's not always possible.
No, it's not, especially when they're in your family. It can be otherwise possible. It can be possible. Would you like to expand?
Yes.
Please do.
Hi, girl. 2 years ago we bought a house in Holland. Beautiful house, very nice. They said it would be ready for Christmas. It wasn't. Okay, that's okay. Problems coming up always in construction. In the end, it was by May. By that time, Stephanie was working there, and in the meantime, she has been living in a small house that's rented out, so she had to move into our house, which was still not ready, but okay. And there were some upheavals with Stephanie. She didn't work there anymore. And then we got a bill for about 20,000 euros, supposedly things that we had ordered apart different from what we not paid for. And it was a difficult situation. They didn't want to talk, and we sent emails. They didn't have an answer. We were upset because obviously when you think you've paid for it, you don't want to pay a second time. But we thought we had spoken everything through. So we trusted him, so that everything was all right. Obviously, we should have done it differently. We didn't have it on paper, so okay. We didn't have it on paper. I went to talk to them, and I said, okay, well, we have to go through this because we have to give this a solution. Because we live here, we want to come here, we like it here, we want to stay here. So we came to an agreement. We paid what I thought we had paid already, but we paid again. And then by December, we got an invoice for gas, electric, water for almost 3,000 euros, which is a holiday home. We haven't been that much, not even in Holland do they spend so much in a normal home. So I asked him, I said, well, maybe something's gone wrong. We got the invoice for 3,000. I don't think this is correct. Maybe you need to look into it. Now, every time I open my email, my stomach goes, is there an answer? Because he's not nice answering.
So you have to deal with it.
Obviously, I have to deal with it.
Yes.
So I have sent him several emails. No reply. So we'll need to go there. What I would like you to tell me, how do I overcome this feeling in my stomach? How can I let go of that?
Okay.
Because I will need to deal with it, and it will come, something else will come up. Because
Yes.
now we see how this person is.
Yes, you need to deal with it. He's been dishonest. It's very clear, right? And how you get rid of this feeling is the reason why you get that. I like the way she describes it. Feeling is because you're hurt, you're upset, and you're quite disappointed, and which is all normal. And of course, when you come, any of us, when we're faced with an unpleasant situation, especially when we want peace and we try to be as good as we can, and we're faced with an unpleasant situation, we don't feel comfortable. So you have to disregard yourself, saying, I'm feeling uncomfortable because I don't like unpleasant situations. Now this, like Arjuna, this unpleasant situation has come to me not because I want it, it's come to me. But it's unpleasant and it's wrong, and I have to fight for righteousness. So the way to overcome it is not to take it personally. If it was your friend going through the situation, you would give her advice and deal with it very logically. So you look at yourself as if you were your friend, and the advice you would give her, at least the advice I would give a friend was, I think you need a very good lawyer. I think you need to take all these papers and show them that there's obviously many discrepancies in what he's saying. You've tried to be as nice as possible, and every time you are, you get another bill. And I would just leave it in the lawyer's hands and don't get emotional. And if he has to pay for what he's done wrong, he has to. What can you do? You didn't instigate it, did you? Did you want any harm to come to him?
No.
Absolutely. But if you don't do something about it, what will happen? You'll do it to somebody else and somebody else and somebody else. Now this battle has come to you. And it's not a personal battle, although he's trying to make it personal for some reason.
I don't think Maudi's told you the whole story. She's
But I think
Maudi,
there are
because
many stories like that.
yes, but Maudi actually did a lot for this particular guy. He would have actually died if Maudi hadn't been there to
That's
encourage
why the
him to.
pain.
Yeah.
That's why the pain.
So that's
Because-
why it's because it is personal. Because I think you did regard him as a friend, didn't you?
Yeah.
Not just as a business thing. They became, and it's even worse then, isn't it? Because
It's worse.
Yeah.
Arjuna's battle.
Yeah.
Who was he battling against? Who was he battling against? Do you remember? His guru. His guru. His teacher. His grandfather. Why is his grandfather, who he loved, on the wrong side? Yeah? Do you see? That's your battle. And how do you approach your battle? By understanding that you don't want to hurt him. in your heart. The reason why you're getting this girl is because you really love him and you're very hurt. And that's why you don't want to hurt or cause, and now you're forced to take an action that you don't want to take.
I feel like in the end I will be forced to move from the place, and I don't really want to move from there. I like it there.
So why should you move?
Because it's in a park and you depend on them for the services.
But will they always be there if they're not acting correctly?
Yeah.
Well, this
They
is
own
something
it all.
nobody can look into the future.
But they do own it, don't they?
They do
so
own it.
It's not like they're employed, so they can be...
Well, you had some problem with that, Cindy.
I still do. Actually, Pat will tell you, because she's having the same problem. But this is in a community. This is our president who...
I know that
Yes.
it happens.
Yes, it
Yeah.
happens a lot. It happens a lot. And the hard part is keeping your strength and your peace of mind during all this.
It's very, very
It's
difficult.
very difficult.
It's like Maudie said,
It's
every
very
time
difficult.
there is a war, because they make it into a war,
Yes.
you are saying something very innocuous and then they take it the wrong way or become back very aggressive.
They want-
Yes,
don't
they do. So it's very hard.
They don't want to pay you the money.
Yeah. So
Yes.
if you look at the Bhagavagita, which we're studying, right? The wrong side tried to hurt the right side for a period of over 14 years.
Wow.
Until the battle had to be fought in the end.
A long battle.
You know, life is like that. It's full of little battles. But when you come out of it with grace and strength, you just come out of it. But they're long. Some people with husbands, some people with wives, some people with children on drugs, you know. Life is full of these battles all around us, and this is why I love the Gita so much, because it's the same battle he has. You know, do you remember he says, my legs are shaking, my mouth is parched, I really don't want to do this, can I just give it all up and say goodbye and go to the mountains and pray and forget about battling, you know? I don't really want to battle. And what does Lord Krishna answer? I'm so sorry. If you don't do it, then people will look upon you as a coward. And you're a warrior. Would it be nice if people look upon you as a coward? What kind of example are you giving? Think of it as karmic, something that has come to you. Maybe you did something awful to him in his last life.
Well, who knows? But the thing is, you just said you're born a warrior, talking about Arjuna. The funny thing is that just recently somebody told me that Maudi comes from Matilda, which is powerful warrior. So
It's your lot in life. Yeah.
I think it's a wonderful name, Warrior of Light, right, Shanti?
Yes,
Yes. Yeah. Somebody called me a warrior of light. They bring light. Sometimes in order to bring light, you have to go through the dark. You know, if you're in light, you don't need any light. It's the people in darkness that need the light. So, sorry. It's life. And look how well you're looking for it. And that's what you have to look at. You know, how well you are looking despite all these things happening. The human spirit is very strong, stronger than we think, stronger than we believe we are. We're really very strong. And that's why all these texts are here to remind us of our strength, not to forget that. And that's why we have to constantly be reminded. And then when that feeling comes, you go, no fear. You know, and yes, it's really often happens that, you know, it comes from people that you have helped the most in life. How many people who have shared businesses with their best friends? How many times have I heard this story? And the best friend runs away with everything. Thousands of times in my lifetime I've heard this story. You know? And that's why I always have this, you know, this motto: if you have to lend money to a friend, better not to lend it. Give it or say you can't. Finish. I'm sorry, I can't, because I don't want to lose your friendship. My husband started to say that in the end. I don't, because I know I need the money. I'm happy to lend it to you, but if you don't pay me back, it will spoil our friendship. and our friendship is too great to spoil. And I remember he was offered a job with my brother-in-law in Hong Kong after we had sold the business, and he loves my brother-in-law. And it was a great job, traveling to South America, you know, what he's very good at doing, talking to the Spaniards, and he decided no. And the reason why he decided no is he said he'd seen so many people lose the friendship over business, and he loved my brother-in-law too much to take the job. Because you never know what happens, right? Happens a lot. I have seen where money is concerned, suddenly the friend becomes an enemy, over and over again. And this is why I always say, let's keep a donation in the center. You know, we'll sponsor the teachers, we'll sponsor the classes, but let's keep it as donation, because, you know, once you bring in money, there is some dynamic. I don't know what happens to people. I remember once in a yoga center in Gibraltar, simply, many, many years ago, everybody works donation. We had somebody who was older, and I said, look, she has no money, her husband makes no money. Let us give her something from the center. Let's pay her. You know, let her be the only one that gets paid. 1 week later, somebody else, oh, if you're paying her, I want to be paid. If you're paying her, then I go, you know what? Forget it. I am going to look after her. We'll keep this a charity. I will look after her. And I did for quite some time, and it was really quite interesting, because she was such a good human being that the gods arranged for her to have an inheritance that they never expected, her or her husband, an aunt far related to them. Did I tell you this story? Yeah, I think so. You know the story.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
It was wonderful, you know. It was wonderful. I mean, I'll tell her to come here one day and tell you herself, because she's what? She's 83 now. She's writing her book, her life book. She's a brilliant writer. So you just don't know what comes around the corner. Because she'd done so much good, and I couldn't understand why everybody could say, you know, she was so much older, and there was jealousy for her. How, you know, people who were studying yoga with me, teachers, and I couldn't understand. And I said, in order to avoid trouble, just leave it. And I've seen, even with little things, people, I don't know what it is about the human mind.
Money.
Yeah.
We're creating a precedent or an exception. Rules that you created.
But I like to break rules for
Yeah,
work.
yeah.
But it was a good cause. A woman that helped everyone. Everyone. Never asked for anything. Such a good cause. Everybody was saying, yeah, let's give her more. You know? But instead we got jealousy. Sad. But anyway, what can you do? Life is like that. So just ignore it, just have fun, you know. This is the way it is, this is the way it is. So you know, and just remember, make peace your goal. Peace is my goal, and if I have to do this battle, let me do it in peace. You know, at least maintain my peace and my strength. And you know, the interesting about human souls is the moment you do this, they know that it's hurting you, they will manipulate you and make it worse. Isn't that odd? The moment you become detached, can't be bothered, then they're a little bit fearful of you. Have you noticed that? Yeah. And suddenly they're calling you and they want your friendship again when they know you're really not bothered. Detachment is quite an interesting thing, huh? And by then, they want to love you again, but then you're so detached you can't be bothered anymore. So they have no more power over you. But they sense the love, the compassion in you, and manipulate it. Yes?
It's nothing compared to what Maudie has, but I experienced, well, we're in Spain, and everybody says things are fraud and whatever. I don't believe that. But I've experienced a very small part of fraud, and it's only 150 euros. But there, I bought a car, and that was like last year, and he overcharged me on the yearly payments which you have to make. They call it the SEO, I don't know. I found out that they overcharged me 150 euro. So I was looking for my paper where they said that I have to pay that money. And I think there's a fraud between them and the bank.
Yeah.
And it's only 150 euro, it's nothing. But what do? It's like, I can live without 150 euro, not a problem. I'm frustrated, but I don't want to lose my peace. On the other hand, if they do it to me, I'm sure they've done it to
Do it to
1,500
others.
other people.
Yes,
Oh,
I'm
they
sure.
have
And it's incredible. It's incredible. It's so, and by coincidence, my best friend, she knows one of the directors of the bank, which is involved. So I want to talk to her. She's a director lady as well. But my question is, question perhaps not. I'm not entirely sure if I should take this on because it will give me headaches, perhaps. On the other hand, it's so unfair. And it's not like in your case, because in your case we talk about real money. This is 150.
But it's the same.
It's the same principle.
And I remember,
1,000 euros or 150.
it's the same. And I remember asking why so much. No, prices went up this year. I said, oh, okay. And if you buy a car, okay, 100, 150 more, what's the big deal? But I feel like this is so dishonest.
It is
Should
the
I take it?
unfairness,
I
yeah.
think a lot of things are
I've-
coming out now in Spain. There's a real cleaning up
But
process.
now I feel like, okay, it's sitting on my, but I feel it's sitting on my desk.
How do
If
you
I-
feel?
If I turn a blind eye, I feel terrible.
Yeah,
Then that's your answer.
Yes, it is.
But I don't want it, and this is like,
That's your answer.
okay. It doesn't feel well. And by the way, well, you know, it's like a German company, it's not even a Spanish company.
This is what happened to me. Say it was not in Spain where I would have expected something like
No,
that.
this was
It
a
was
German
in
company.
Holland. I didn't expect
No.
a Dutch man
No,
to be like that.
no.
It's all over the world, but
Yeah.
But I'm like, what? And then I had to figure it by coincidence, because I know one of the directors of this bank, I could easily talk to her. So the way is relatively easy for me.
Wow, maybe that's why it came to you.
That's my point.
Yeah,
But I
what
also
is it?
feel like,
Did you hear
oh.
what you just said?
Yeah.
Did you hear?
Yeah.
You did very clear.
Yeah. But I don't want it. I don't want it.
And nobody does.
No, I hear myself, but I decided to take this opportunity to share it with you, and then
Thank
you
you.
took the floor before. That was wonderful. So, but then it was like, it's so easy to turn a blind eye, and it wouldn't feel well.
You don't feel well.
No.
Maybe it's been given to you because you are strong for all those people who aren't.
Yeah.
And
I
maybe
know.
you will speak up for those people who can't.
I feel so.
And you
Again,
have the connection, which they don't.
apparently, because I decided, how should I do? And then I realized, my God, my friend, she's at this bank. She knows the director. Let's call her. Yeah, I know her, and I know her as well by coincidence. And it's fraud. It's like they're printing things on bank paper, which is fraud.
Just don't wait 14 years like the key to become a battle.
I've had my phone call. No, I'm running off
There's
now.
a general sense of lack
Okay,
of
I'll do it.
responsibility.
I'll do it.
Lack of responsibility. And then I fell into this, in this hole in the ground, which wasn't visible. The whole thing was there, and I stepped up right in front of the Almanar Hotel. This is a year ago. It took me 6 months. I was still limping 3, 4, 5 months later. But I decided to do something about it. But they're still going round in circles. Nobody's responsible. The DESA says it's the hotel says they're not responsible. It's a public road. The public road says, and then the insurance company says, well, we're not going to pay for a lawyer to go against a Spanish electricity company because, they're not going to respond. So here I am like, it's incredible. And then you say go to a good lawyer, but lawyers want money, so you might be paying more money. But then, when it happened, a lot of people said to me, that happened to me, a month ago, my cousin, my friend. But, we didn't know what to do about it. And I thought, I started to do something about it. A year later, it's still going round in circles.
Maybe you should all go there and fill up that hole.
Yes, that would be
As soon as I took it to press,
I
the
would
next
do
day,
that.
as soon as I took it to press, the next day they fixed it. That was 6 months later. But that's only one. It's very dangerous in a lot of places.
Yeah. So at least you got one whole thing.
progress.
It was a lot of pain from me.
And a lot of pain you went through.
Yeah.
But you done it. You saved how many people from falling into that
Well, I
hole?
really thought if a kid steps on that, they're gone. Really. It's right in front of the golf course. It's amazing. And we did nothing until it went to the newspaper. We do fix this.
Let's go back to the Gita now. Shoti, where am I?
Yes.
I'm so lost as where I am.
Page 63. Paragraph 21.
Oh, we were talking about, let's go back. Can I go back to 19? Because it just seems to flow here, and I'll just read it through. Whoever does things without personal desire for the results is called wise by the sages. That person's actions are pure, and he knows the truth. Because he has let go attachment to the fruits of his actions, he is ever content and has no dependencies. Though he appears to be doing things, karma, actually he's not the doer. Because he does not want anything for himself, and because he has control of his mind and ego, and because he does not consider possessions as his own, he is completely pure despite the actions of his body and mind, which moving according to the forces of nature. Okay, here is the answer to your question. Because he has let go of attachments to the fruits of his actions. Whatever you have to do, you do.
And whatever happens, happens.
Happens.
Yeah.
You work on principle. He is ever content. You can never be content if you don't follow the flow of your heart. For example, you said to me, this doesn't sit well with me. Didn't you say it so clearly? Now, if something doesn't sit well with you, will you ever be content? You won't until you've sorted it out. So, you have to do something to sort it out before contentment comes, right? So, just let go of the attachment to the results, all right? Because that brings on dependencies.
Yeah.
If you expect something to happen, you do it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
If you expect a certain result, you will be discontent and unhappy.
Yeah.
But if you do it for the right reasons, and you do it for the sake of the right, and just let go, you will feel free and content. It hasn't worked out my way. I haven't lost my peace. You're wise. Right?
Good.
Hard to
Thank
do.
you.
Hard to
No,
do.
this is a good case.
Hard to do. Easy to say.
Yes.
But this is why we do so much practice of meditation. And forgiveness. We'll do a forgiveness practice again later. That's why we do so many practices. So that because it's so hard for the human mind to do, those practices that we do on a daily basis, the meditation, the positive thinking, the deep relaxation, the working on our body, the pranayama, the study. You know, I'm not this body, I'm not this my immortal self I am. My life here on earth is short. I'm really spirit. I'm going through a human experience. Constantly practicing. Then when the battles come, you can be ever content. You can be quiet in the noise. While all the action is going on outside, even though you look like you're arguing, even though you look like you're in trouble, on the inside you're not. But because you have a human body and a human mind and you have to attend to things, you have to attend to things on an earthly level. As Lord Jesus said, be in this world, but no, you are not of this world. This is exactly what it's saying here. Is that clear?
Mm.
So though he appears to be doing things, karma, actually he's not the doer. Who is doing what? Who is working through you? What are you? Who are you? Who makes your heart beat? Are you conscious of your heart beating all the time? No. What keeps your heart beating? Who tells you it's time to die? Are you conscious of it? When does it happen? How is it going to happen? Who does what? Who's actually doing anything? Who are you? Who are you? Who's working through your body? Who makes your mind think? Who makes your ears hear? Who makes your eyes see? Why is it when we get older we stop the hearing gets worse, the vision gets worse. Why? Think about it. We go inwards more and more as we get older. And the child develops it as a baby. It's already inwards and it comes outwards. And we go back in old age to letting everything go. And when we're prepared for it, it becomes an easy journey. If we're not prepared for it, boy, will we suffer. So here, I can't believe this is your answer. Really, I love it when the Gita does this. Because he does not want anything for himself, and because he has control of his mind and his ego. I love this. And that takes practice. That takes daily practice.
How do you know whether it's the ego that's making you do things or
Because
not?
the ego is the one that wants something in return, has a desire, gets angry. Me, how dare you do this to me after I did this
Right.
for you? That's
It's
the
all
ego.
to do with selfishness then. If
It's
it's
not
a
really selfish.
Egocentricity.
It's like we feel we're so much in this body. We feel we're so important when we take this body shape. We think, this is me. How dare you do this to me?
Because you could take the battle on because of your ego as well, couldn't
Absolutely,
you? So
absolutely,
it's a very difficult, and sometimes it's
But then
mixed. It's a
also
bit of
very-
ego and a bit of
absolutely.
doing things that you think are right. So
Yeah.
I mean, there are also occasions when it's appropriate to let go of the battle and just let
Absolutely,
unconditional love.
absolutely. You see that
Because I had a scenario with family and I just thought,
there is, yes.
and that is where you say, well, get the money, it's not important. So
You see, when you're already in that position, you can do it. But if it doesn't sit well, I have to ask you, are you in peace?
it's that well.
Yes.
Okay.
See, if it sits well, you've grown through that. Thank God you can let it go. You've grown. You're not attached. So that's why you're in peace. But if it doesn't sit well, then
It took time.
that's the answer. It does take time. Does take time. That's the patience we have to have. But when you let go, you feel really good. But when you let go, you know. Just like when the fruit is ripe, the apple is ripe, will fall off the tree, you'll know. Until then, unfortunately, because of our karma, we have to do all those things and get involved. But it's really good when we're getting involved that we understand, we have the knowledge, so that we don't sink, but we just surf. It's our karma that brings these things. We have to purge it all. We don't know what we've sown, because this is the universal law. In all traditions you will see it. As you sow, you will reap. It's just the way it is. It's the law of the universe. There's no God that punishes us. It doesn't exist. It is our actions that will cause the reactions. What we have is the freedom to have the knowledge. What we have is the ability to practice to have the knowledge. And that's why the spiritual practices are so important. And that's why I keep telling you, practice, practice, practice. What do you practice? Okay, if you can't meditate quietly because your mind is driving you mad, then just put on some nice mantras or a song that elevates you. Anything. Just elevate the mind as much as you can so that the mind is in a state of strength. And keep reminding yourself, who am I? And I often say when something is used to bother me a lot, in 50 years, when I still have this problem, I'll be dead. Do I really want to spend the next 2 years suffering with this problem? And either I will apply unconditional love or a solution and detach totally. Or just totally detach. And now it's easier and easier. Just, can't be bothered with this nonsense. Walk away. No need to debate. No need to talk. It's really nice. But then you're ready for it. There's no, I have to go and debate, I have to prove myself, I have to justify that I'm a good person, I have to justify why I did this action. No need. You know what? This is the way I am. You like me, great. You don't like me, great. This is what it is. Finish. Full stop. Much easier. There's no dependency on being liked or right or thought right or wrong. Some people will tell you, oh, Maudie, you're a good person. Why you won't take him to go? Another person will say, go, take him. You know, there's no right or wrong. You just have to do what is right by you. And by you. And it will sit well. And you feel good. You'll know by the feeling you get. Although difficult, you will feel a sense of achievement. Like, oh, I let it go. It's a sense of achievement. So, you know, everybody tells me I'm crazy, that I should have fought for my inheritance. But you know, it's not worth my hassle. I let it go.
It's forgiveness.
Yeah, wonderful.
For grief, for someone else's
Yes.
grief. It ends up their problem then, I think.
Yeah, thank God, not yours. Isn't it nice to be free? Why would you sell your freedom? Why? For what does it benefit a man to gain the whole world at the price of his own soul? What does it profit the man? Nothing. So this is basically what it's saying here. And because he does not consider possessions as his own, he is completely pure despite the actions of his body and his mind. He does not consider possessions as his own. Is anything yours really? Yeah, say it loud. Say it loud and clear. Yeah. Is anything yours really?
No.
Nothing. Yeah. Everything is on loan. Everything is on loan. And I can guarantee you, what is born to be yours will be yours. If you're meant to have something, nobody can stop that coming to you. And if you're not meant to have it, you're going to cry, scream, do what you like, and it's just not going to come. And that's the way it is. So just do what you have to do quickly, get out of the mess quickly so you can enjoy the rest of your life peacefully. And then it says, because he is content with what comes of its own accord, acceptance, what comes of its own accord, acceptance, and because he envies no one, and because he has gone beyond the pairs of opposites and maintains his equanimity in success and failure. Today I'm successful, tomorrow I might be a failure. What does it really matter? I maintain my peace. That's what matters. That is what's important. What makes things matter to us? When people think, oh my God, what will they think if I failed? Oh my God, what will they think if I do this? Always back and forth, back and forth. You do what you have to do. You realize success comes sometimes, failure comes sometimes. Praise comes sometimes, blame comes sometimes. It's life. And then you maintain your peace. And though it appears, again, even though it appears that he is doing things, he is not bound by his actions. When you let go all attachments and experience liberation, your mind becomes absorbed in truth. Then everything you do becomes a sacrifice, and all your karma melts away. When you let go of attachments and experience liberation, now you all know what that feels like. You know how much your attachments make you unhappy. You know when you have a desire that is unfulfilled, how much you struggle with that. When you let all those go, what do you feel? Liberated. I feel free. Have you felt free? It's so nice to feel free. You're free. Nothing can bind me. Nothing is mine anyway. Everything is borrowed. If I lose it, fine. If I gain it, great. It doesn't bind me. So, and then your mind becomes absorbed in the truth. Because what happens when you let go of all your attachments. Your mind is quiet, right? When it is quiet, it will absorb the essence of the universe. It will experience what Sri Patanjali says, the true self, or what most people call God. You'll experience that stillness, that joy, that bliss, what the yogis call truth, knowledge, bliss, absolute. You will just know that you know that you know. You don't know how you know it, because it's not you knowing it, it's what is. What is already there. You just become absorbed, because there's nothing more here to stop. I read a book a long time ago called The One Reality by Paul Bruton, and I love how he explained that. He said it's like a blackboard. And when your mind is so full of things and so clogged with your egos and your desires, it's like having the blackboard filled with words. And when you fill it up, you don't see the spaces anymore. It's just clogging. And then suddenly, by the practice of yoga, and this is what I put in, it's like you're getting an eraser. And you start to rub out all the clogging. And suddenly, the blackboard is so clear. And his words were, then the divine can come and write on it. And that's what happens. Divine, you become, and this is what St. Francis meant by the prayer. Make me an instrument of your peace. And that's what he said. And he says, then your entire life will become a sacrifice. Where there is darkness, let me bring light. Where there is sorrow, joy. Because you no longer see separation. So you no longer want to bring any harm to anyone. And that's the final stage of the spiritual journey, where all your life is living like this. Enjoy your class, Kayla. And thank you for you and Shanti and for doing those wonderful workshops. The Saturdays I've been away.
We'll chat more next week.
Yeah, we'll chat more next week. See you. You know they've been doing a wonderful workshop on Saturdays here. Thank you, volunteers as well.
That was
For
great.
special needs and children, a lot of special needs, and it's been working really well. There are 2 trial ones, and we'll probably do more. So here, and this is where then your life becomes a sacrifice, because you found so much peace that everything you want to do is to contribute that peace to the earth. And that's when you become free. But it takes a long time. Yes, Sue, it's difficult. And in fact, Arjuna tells Lord Krishna, you're telling, in chapter 6 we'll go there, and he'll say, yes, you're telling me to do all these things, and it sounds so easy, but how can you control this mind which is obstinate, fickle? It's like the wind. How can you stop the wind? And Krishna answers, yes, it is difficult, but not impossible. It is difficult. If I say it's easy, I lie to you. And so many people want the easy way out. I remember when I gave a talk on forgiveness in Hong Kong just now, somebody came to me and asked me after a talk, he said, how do you deal, you talk about forgiveness, how do you deal with forgiveness when you see your family being hacked and killed? How do you ever forgive those people? When you see that your parents have been killed in these third world countries, because she works a lot with people like that. She was some kind of, from some embassy. And I just read the book, Left to Tell. Any of you read it? Well, please read it. It's quite phenomenal. By Immaculate Ilibagiza. And it is about her being in Rwanda, when they had the Hutus and the Tutsis attacking her family. And how? By the power of forgiveness, she saves herself and 6 people. It's amazing. It's an amazing book. You just think, how can any human being do this?
What's that called?
Left to Tell. And then she went to America many years later. She was saved, although most of her family died. I think only her brother survived. Am I right? Only her brother survived. And she went to the States, and Wayne Dyer happened to meet her. And Wayne Dyer introduced her to the general public and helped her to publish this book. So do read it. It's an incredible book. It will shift your idea about forgiveness totally. And when
She's written a second book as well.
I've read it as
Led
well.
by Faith.
Yeah, Led by Faith, but the first one is always the most powerful one. That's really powerful. And if you think, I can't forgive, read that book. You can. You'll find it easy after that. You really find it easy after that. It's quite a fun. So I told her, yes, it's difficult, but read this book and practice yourself so you can forgive. You can't advise other people to forgive when you are so angry watching somebody else's suffering. You just fan the fire. So you have to practice compassion and forgiveness before you can advise somebody else to practice compassion and forgiveness. And it's so difficult. I know. But it's the only way out. It's the only thing that will make you free. Otherwise you will never be free. With anger you can never be free. There is no other way. You have to let go and forgive. It's the ego that doesn't want to, you see. But if you understand,
Or fight the battle.
or fight the battle. And if you really understand karma, the law of karma, then you really can understand why things come to you. And you take it very differently. This has come to me for learning. This has come to me because I have to purge out some karma. Let me purge it out well. Let me purge it out in the right, correct way. And that's how the Bhagavagita tells you how to do it. How to do it. So here he explains that, when you do that, then all your karma melts away. So all the seeds burn up. You don't have to face future karmas.
Can I ask a question?
Sure you can.
You said give it to a lawyer and then, isn't that walking away from the problem?
No, because a lawyer will have to consult you.
You're taking help.
You're taking help. The lawyer will, it's not walking away. Probably you get burnt a little bit more. Like she said, you'll have to pay the lawyer quite a bit.
But you've got to decide whether it's worthwhile to pay the lawyer or whether...
It won't be walking away, it's just getting help, professional help. Sometimes when somebody does something wrong and you tell them you're going to get a lawyer, they get scared.
Things change, yeah.
Well, I don't think he's so much impressed by that. He has his insurance, has many lawyers for him to work, so I don't think he will be impressed. That by pressure it won't solve.
So well, then that's not an argument, but the other one is like getting professional help and taking work out of your hands and getting professional view of
But
things.
if
That
this
will
is
help.
my karma, is that good enough that I let somebody else do the battle?
You're not, you're just
No.
taking help.
Yeah,
I don't do the battle
Yeah.
because the lawyer will do the battle.
No,
You'll still
But
have to be
learning
involved,
to-
I think. Yeah.
I think
it will be
it's
teaming
good.
up. I don't think it's like handing over, it's teaming up, and because of his or her specialism, they will do certain things which you cannot because you're not a lawyer. But you will have to take decisions. He can propose things to you, and you said, that yes, that no.
Okay.
In the end, you decide,
Mm.
not the lawyer. That would be like, hoppa, do whatever you want. But that's not your intention. It's like, no, I think it's like teaming up.
It's-
Sorry, I don't want to take over.
No, absolutely. Doesn't Arjuna have an army
Yeah,
to help him?
yeah, good comparison.
But his biggest aid is what? What is Arjuna's biggest aid?
Krishna.
Pardon, Krishna. What does Krishna represent?
God.
God within all of us.
Yeah. You know, integrity is yeah.
You fight with integrity, you fight with honor, you fight with truthfulness, you fight with compassion in your heart. That's how you fight. You don't fight with anger.
You can still take advice.
And still take advice. Always take advice. It's from experts. I
Yeah.
always say, when people sometimes come to me with a disease, I'll tell them how to heal their mind to deal with the disease, but I'll say, go to a good specialist for your disease, because I'm not a specialist, you know. If your bones are aching and your muscles are tight, go and see an expert on massage. But look for an expert, look for a good one. You know, don't take anyone, because then you will be disappointed. And that's what you always go to the experts for certain advice. And that's the way to do it. And if you are going to go to an expert, I always say choose the best.
Sometimes though you have to make a decision for your own peace of mind as well as the proportion of your battle, how much you've got to lose as well,
Yes.
or gain.
Absolutely.
And that can really tear you apart. I was confronted many years ago with a situation that was very unfair over well-known paper in the UK who had published something that was totally unfair. And lawyers, friends of mine there, said, Esther, you've got to retaliate. We'll do it for you. And even lawyers here in Gibraltar, they said, we'll charge you nothing. So don't worry, but you've got to really retaliate. Deep down, I really didn't want, I mean, it was unfair. But on the other hand, I know these libel cases can be very costly.
Yes, they can be.
Okay, my lawyers weren't charging me anything. And so they started the battle, and I let them. The battle hadn't even started. And then I received a letter from the other party's lawyers saying that they had accumulated, I think it was like the equivalent to something like 15,000 euros approximately. It hadn't even started. And I know that it could be hundreds of thousands at the end. And at that point, not that I was afraid or or cowered down, but I saw in black and white. They told me I had 99% chances. And then I thought, how about that 1%? For the paper, that would be nothing. Hundreds of thousands is nothing. For me, it would be my life. And I couldn't sleep at night. For months, I was really worried inside, and it was really tearing me apart, because I thought, one technicality. And if I win, what do I win? A tiny little corner in one paper retracting from it. And then I remember somebody helped me take that decision, and my decision was to let go. Because at the end of the day, my peace of mind, my peace, was much more important. And the result, the end result I didn't want any money or anything, just retraction. And then people that know me anyway. And so I needed to ask for a loan to repay and pay those other lawyers. And from the day after, I was able to sleep and relax and be okay. I never looked back, and I always thought that was the wisest decision I ever took. Because sometimes battles come to you that are not necessarily they're not necessary.
Absolutely. And you see,
And I
it
was
took
wrong,
away
it's
your
not being
peace.
coward, but just
did
being
you
wise.
see, you made it, but you were happy. You could sit contently with yourself. That's your answer again.
But you said it was the worst decision you had
The
It was
best.
The best.
the best
Sorry.
decision I've ever made.
Yeah.
And
Because you
I'm a
were
lawyer,
the
and I'm a
choice.
lawyer, and I'm confronted with having to advise clients often, and I have that in mind. And I realise that sometimes the lawyers that would encourage you to battle
Yeah.
for their own sake,
Yeah.
because that's money to us. I don't like to earn money in this way, and I think that sometimes losing means winning.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You see, you're able to distinguish the
So
difference.
that's just
Yes.
it helps. It's a counteract of
Yes.
what you were
Is
all
it
talking
you
about.
can say,
The
is
lawyer
it
will help you to make the decision. The lawyer would help you.
Not necessarily.
No.
No, they can
I don't-
confuse it sometimes.
Help you make that decision.
No.
I do.
If I go to the lawyer, then it will be, say, it would be paying 3,000 euros for the electricity, which is not true. Or pay all that money to the lawyer, and maybe he will get the lesson.
Exactly.
Maybe not.
So now it's
Yeah.
become very clear to you. Did you hear yourself?
Yeah, I've got that very good.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
not my, but that was not my question. My question is, how can I open the emails without this journal feeling? I know I will have to see him in the face. I know I will have to talk to him again. And I knew last time that it hadn't finished. It's not that my question. I want an answer is an advice. How can I keep my peace? How can I stay?
Content.
Yes.
By understanding that this is part of life. And this has come to you. And that you are spirit experiencing this battle. And as spirit, it is just a blip, a wave, a huge wave in your life. And you will pass it, it will pass. So why are you suffering so much over something that will go?
This is what I tell myself, but it doesn't really
Yeah.
I think it's probably because she hasn't made a decision. In my case it was, and my
It
decision
feels that.
cost me a lot of money when I was the one that I had been aggravated, and I had to, money I didn't have, and I had to ask for a loan and repay it. But the moment I made that decision and I paid it over, I thought it's only money.
Yeah.
15,000 euros is money. Sleeping well, and the other lawyers were saying, "Are you crazy? Why are you doing this? We could do that for you." And I said, because if I can sleep at night, I might become ill, may get an illness, nothing can pay me for that. All this waste time, that could be months or years, all this will not come back. So I made that decision that it was only money and I could pay it over and have peace. So that was my decision, that you have to make it.
Yes.
And until I made
we
it,
get
I
there,
wasn't
yeah.
free from
I
it.
think for Modi, it's not just about the money. I think everybody's concentrating on the money, and this really isn't the issue. Because it's a small urbanisation and they're living there, they want to go there and enjoy the place and feel happy and contented to go there. And these people are very prominent in this urbanisation. They own it, they're there all the time, they supervise everything that goes on. And they were good friends of Modi and Manolo. To a certain degree, Stephanie, the daughter, worked
Have you
for
gone
them.
straight to them?
And now
why
it's
are you
all,
doing this?
that's the difficulty.
Have you
because-
gone straight to them and said, why are you doing this? I'm really surprised. Have you gone straight to them?
Yes, she has.
And what
Yeah.
have they answered?
You don't get an answer.
Ask again.
He doesn't really give you an answer.
He just avoids it, doesn't he?
You don't.
And that's the hard bit.
Destroying you that much today and before you leave.
They're waiting to
Go
get tired.
leave them for the lawyer.
Well,
Well, you can
Well, first of all,
redirect
she
it.
has to decide whether
She
she's
No, I will
going
go
to
to him
battle
again.
with the lawyer,
Yeah.
so she's going to let
I
it
will
go.
face him again and I will give him a hand and I will give him a kiss.
But
if
it's hard
necessary.
because there's this
And I won't do
aggression
it.
that keeps
But-
coming up.
I won't get an answer why he's doing it. I won't get the truth out of him.
And she still has to
I
go into the
suppose that he
aggression.
has money problems,
you have
but
to go into the aggression.
That's the
Yeah.
hard bit.
That's the pain.
It's not
that's the
really
thing.
about the money, I don't think, for Modi. I know I'm talking for her, but I know the story in and out, and I've been
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
and I've met him, and I know. And I don't think it is the money. I think it's she'd hoped that this is going to be a peaceful place for them to be. It's their holiday place. And now, because they're there, and this aggression is built up against Modi, really, in the family, and it's hard to keep going into that. So it's more than just
So
money.
maybe you want to sell.
Yeah.
You decide.
Yeah.
The decision will come to you very clearly. Should I sell? Should I stay? It's your decision. Yes, Ole.
Do you know, I
There
saw
are many beautiful places to live.
yes.
I saw some statistics,
Yes.
you know, about people getting angry with their teenagers and their kids. And they said, just check out statistics, like a normal teenager will forget his bag 4 times, he will lose his bicycle twice, he will do this and that, and then they went into, during a normal lifetime, you will, according to the statistics, you will go through like 1.4 divorce, you will lose one child, you will do all of this, you will go through things like maybe 3 of those in a lifetime, really emotional things with a friend, a close friend included. You will go through, and it was almost, it was
So it's
almost
very
like,
cheerful, really.
no, but it was almost like, okay, then I had to go through 3 of them. Let me go through that's one, I went through that in a good way, okay.
It's
Maybe another one would
You're
come.
very lucky.
No, but what I'm saying
Get
is
rid of them all.
I think I must have gone through 20 of them. No,
But
maybe
instead-
more.
what I'm saying is just like you said before, not take it so personal. It is part of life. This is part of the package.
Yeah,
You
this
will go
is- this
through
is
things
it.
like this.
And this is the yogic point of view. In pleasure or pain, experience that peace. How do you do it? The only way you can do it is build up your spiritual energy. The only way I could do it, I could never do it before, is through all the years of practice, sitting down and meditating, asking myself, who am I? Reading spiritual books, trying to serve, love, give, meditate, purify, realize. Those were my goals. My goals was to be free from all this human suffering. And in time, by itself, the fear started to leave me, the anger started to leave me, just by the practice itself, by connecting to the higher source constantly. Oh, when I couldn't meditate, I pray. Prayer was a great thing for me, because sometimes you can't sit and meditate and feel that oneness. All you hear is the madness of your own mind. And the yogis describe it as, what, do you remember? A drunken monkey stung by a scorpion and possessed by demons. This is the state of our mind, you know. Sometimes you just can't do it. So then pray, ask for help. And when you pray, ask, you will receive. You know, this is where, again in the New Testament, ask and you shall receive. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door will be open to you. And I have seen this happen to people over and over and over again. When they just say, I can't do it anymore, help me. Help comes. It's really extraordinary. Extraordinary. And that trust and that faith that you will get the help you need. Like, for example, if I was in your situation, I really don't know what to do anymore, I'm fed up with this so long, help me, you know, help me. I know I have to deal with this, I know I have to talk to this guy. Meanwhile, until I see him, I will send him loads of lights. When I'm meditating, surround him with white light, surround him with love, see him telling you the truth, visualize a good outcome. And then whatever happens will happen. But this is what I would do. Visualize the best. See a peaceful end. Because as you think, become. But do not be attached to that peaceful end. But I will apply the medicine. And when you apply the medicine to make yourself peaceful and to forgive, by the time it comes to the problem, whether it works out or not, you have the peace to decide, okay, you know what? I don't think I want this anymore. I'm going to sell this. Finish. You'll make it. Or, you know what? There will be peace and you'll stay there. And all this will take a period of time. It cannot happen overnight.
No.
Yeah, and that's how I would do it. Yeah, when you let go of it, it really does. You know, and that's how I would deal with this. You know, I don't like this feeling, and it's really grasping me too much, but I want peace. I want peace. So what am I going to do to make myself peaceful? Sometimes not even thinking about the problem is the way out. Focus on something else. Focus on something else. Just stop repeating it in your mind so much. And how do you do that? Be with positive thinking people. Be with people who don't encourage, oh, this is really a bad thing to happen to you. Just drop it now. Let's be a little happy. Let's have some fun. You have to face it when you face it. At the moment, there's nothing you can do. Your hands are tied. So just wait a bit, be a little patient, and have some fun. And that's how I would deal with it, that awful feeling. There's no other way. And then it passes. And the amazing thing is that it passes. As everything has passed in our lives, hasn't it? How many times have you been down? How many times have you been trodden on? How many times have you experienced pain? Haven't you passed it all? Don't you think you'll do it again? Yes, and that's the answer you give yourself. And then that feeling won't hold you so much. And that happens with practice. Be with positive people. Love for love. And send him a lot of light. Love. Bless him. Bless him.
No, I have. Actually,
Good,
I have.
good. You're doing all the right things and expect nothing in return. You melt your karma.
Well, it's not that I expect him to answer at least an email and say what.
May you get your answer. May you get your answer. May you get your answer. Yes.
I just think from my own experience that sometimes an email is a coward's way of communicating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
When I email, it's because sometimes I don't
Want to face
to or dare or.
Funnily enough, before you said that, I think he was thinking, why doesn't he just read me? Why is she even?
See?
No, I did. I read him. Yeah.
But they can
I
refuse
don't
to
get
speak
an
to you
answer.
as well, yeah.
So,
I think-
very interesting, right? Do we get answers all the time?
No.
No, I mean, if he was in person, you wouldn't have this scenario. He's obviously.
But there are a lot of people who aren't. I mean, what do you do if somebody won't speak to you, email you, take your phone calls, or if you go to the door,
Make that
they
decision
will...
she's got to make.
Yeah.
And only you will make it. And you will know by the peace you get with your decision. And
I
this
will
is the
tell-
fun, you know, I would think about it like, oh, now I have a really difficult problem. You know, and that's
Well, I
what
don't
we
even
really
look
need.
at it as a difficult problem. I think there are more difficult
Great,
things in
even
life.
better, even better, wonderful.
But it is something that is
It's
like,
challenging.
how do I do it?
Challenging, it's a challenge, that's all. It's a challenge. And good luck on your challenge.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, it's like sportsmen, right? You know, it's a challenge. Hurdles, yeah, these are hurdles. Look upon it as a hurdle, and then your life will be more peaceful. And that's how you deal with it. And the pain lessons and the sorrow lessons. And what can you do? It's human nature. One day they love you and next day they don't. Right? And I often think when good friends hurt me in the past or have hurt me in the past, wow, look at what they did to Lord Jesus. Why not me? Who am I? No big deal. And that's why I think, no big deal. It's okay, you're forgiven. Who am I to take it so personally? Nothing. Look at Lord Jesus, what he went through. And he could forgive. And anyway, if you want to be free, you have to let it all go. Otherwise you can never be free. And like you said, make peace your goal. Make peace your goal. Yes, Rick?
For me, it's like forgiving. It's a difficult thing, not because I feel like if I forgive, it feels like I'm better than you are. I can forgive you, and that sits for me totally weird because I'm not better than somebody else. But in those experiences, I've said, no, I can forgive you. Who am I to forgive? For me, this is a conflict. Letting go, I like. Not that that's easy. That's a different story. But that approach I like. But I forgive you. I find it difficult. It feels like I put myself higher. You know?
Okay.
That's not what I want.
Then you do this practice, which I always do. We'll do it right now, shall we? Okay, let's do it right now. Close your eyes. We'll do 3 Ams first. Take a slow, deep breath. Inhale deeply. And as you exhale, feel all the tension leave the back of your neck and shoulders. Take another slow, deep breath. And exhale. Imagine a beautiful white light in your very own heart. It's the size of a seeding, a disc. And see this disc of light in your heart, turning round and round and round. And inside this light is you. As you are dressed today, see yourself very clearly. Yourself the way you're dressed. And now see yourself smiling in that light, feeling protected, calm, and peaceful. And now, see the person who has hurt you. See that person right in front of you. And bring out your hands, and as you hold his or her hands, say, I forgive you. I forgive you. Please forgive me too. Whatever I may have done to hurt you or to make you so angry with me, forgive me too. And hear the person say, I'm so sorry, I forgive you. And hear yourself say, I'm so sorry, I forgive you. And see that person smile. See yourself smile. Let go of their hands and let them walk away smiling. As they walk away, you walk away smiling too. Take a slow, deep breath. And as you breathe out, feel all the anger and pain leave you gently. Let go of everything. Just spend 1 minute in quiet silence. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May the entire universe be filled with peace and joy, love and light. May all those who hurt us and cause us harm be filled with peace and joy, love and light. May we who feel harmed and hurt be filled with peace and joy, love and light. May the light of truth overcome all the darkness. Jai Shri Satguru Satchidananda Ji Maharaj.